and friends, and welcome back to the kitchen. I'm so glad y'all are in here with me because we're going to do another fun recipe today. I have an iron skillet that was my mom's, and we've cleaned it up. I'm starting on the reseasoning it, but it's a Griswold, and there's no telling how old it is. And I'm going to make an iron skillet, an old-fashioned syrup cake. Dust it with a little powdered sugar to make it kind of pretty, and we'll have us a piece of cake. So y'all come on over and let's get it going. Before we go over there, and lest I forget, I want to tell y'all and give you a heads up about something that is going on. I was invited to be in a collaboration with 26 other channels, and we're calling it Crocktober. And every day in the month of October there will be a new crock pot or Instapot recipe made for you to have for your recipe files. So I'll try to put a link below for Crocktober where you can go and look at the ones that are going to be included in it, and try to visit their channel, subscribe if you haven't, and enjoy looking at some other channels and what other people are doing. Crocktober, it's going to be fabulous. Alrighty, let's get this going. I've got 3/4 of a cup of shortening Crisco in here. And I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar to that and let that mix well. I've got that done. Now I'm going to get my 2 eggs cracked and into the bowl and mix that. Okay, got my 2 big eggs in there. Okay, now it calls for 1.5 cups of cane syrup. Today, I'm going to be real honest, I didn't have cane syrup, so I'm using half Blackburn's and half molasses. And it's pretty close to the taste of the cane syrup to me. I'm going to mix that a bit. Okay, I've got that pretty well mixed. Now what I have left is 3 cups of flour, 1 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of soda, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to do my flour. And I'm just always making messes, aren't I? And I'm going to have to mix that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add in the rest of my milk. One more little bit of milk has to go in. I'm going to scrape it down real good. I love this paddle beater with the scraper on it. It really takes care of everything except sometimes right down at the very bottom and right up at the very top. It's pretty well mixed when you use that beater. It's worth the investment from KitchenAid. Okay, we're going to get over there to the skillet. I've got it greased and floured, and we'll get our cake in the oven. Okay, I've got my skillet greased and floured, and I feel like everybody knows what that means, but just in case, you take some Crisco on your fingers or a paper towel and you grease the entire surface really well, and then you sprinkle flour in it and you bump it all around until everything has a coating of flour on it, and that's what makes it release your cake when you're done. So let's get our batter into the skillet. Old timers made use of what they had, and that's proven by using syrup on this, because I never remember going to my grandparents' houses that they didn't have syrup on the table. And a lot of times they'd make it themselves, or they'd have a friend that had a meal, and they would all, the neighbors would all pitch in, and everybody would go help and reap the benefits. Okay, I just got the cake out of the oven, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to cook it 40 to 45 minutes, and then I used my little cake tester and just put it in there to make sure it was clean. So that, but it's turned out, made a big old pretty 1-layer cake. So I'm going to put it out on a plate here in a minute, and I'm going to use my little OXO sugar duster and dust the top of it, and I'll let y'all see how I work this. And I did go look it up on Amazon, and that's what it's called, OXO sugar duster, and they're $9.99, and they're worth every penny. You can use it for cocoa or whatever. But I'm going to let this cool a jiffy, and then I'm going to put it out on my plate, and I'll be back showing off what I've cooked today. I wanted to show y'all, one time years ago I had a party, and I don't even remember the name of the company. It was they sold a lot of country home decor, and everything that I served, because I've always had a ton of cast iron, everything that I served had a gingham bow on it, but I couldn't find any gingham right now, so I just took some raffia and tied it on here. But you could set your table and serve it in cast iron pieces, because I would put glass dishes down in the cast iron, but I had it elevated. I used a quilt for my tablecloth, and it was really cool. So this is an option for serving this old-fashioned syrup cake. You could just serve it right in the skillet. Get your little oxy shaker and put you a little bit of powdered sugar on the top, and you're good to go. Isn't that the neatest thing? And clean up what you shook everywhere where you didn't want it. But anyhow, that's an idea for serving if you want it rustic or country looking. And then you can invert it on a plate and dust the bottom of it and serve it that way. But I'm just going to tell y'all, I'm going to leave it in my skillet today, and we're going to just have it out of the skillet for right now, and then later I will flip it out on a plate where I can put some saran or something around it and keep it. The quilt that I'm using for my tablecloth here was my grandma's. It's over 100 years old, and she helped piece it and quilt it by hand. It was, my grandma's name was Mary Trevathan. My maiden name was Trevathan. So anyhow, this is my pretty old-fashioned iron skillet syrup cake. Well, I decided to show y'all both ways. I've put it out on one of my big reproduction ruby red platters, and I've got a piece cut just where you can see how big and fluffy it is. So just a way for serving. Thought I would show y'all what I was doing. Thank y'all so much for coming to the kitchen today and spending some time watching me make this old-fashioned cake. You know, it's something about cooking in cast iron, no matter what it is, that makes me feel connected with my ancestors. It's just an old-fashioned way of doing, and I love my cast iron. If you haven't been to my channel before, thank you for coming and welcome. I hope you'll come back, and please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button if you like what you saw, and tell your other friends about it. Share the channel on your social media. I would appreciate it a bunch. My channel's growing. I feel like the good Lord's blessing me, and I just want to be a blessing to y'all and let you learn new recipes and new methods and maybe a few new gadgets, because let me tell you, I love gadgets. The Lord bless and keep y'all. Don't forget about Crocktober. Go to all of the links below and visit everybody's channel and subscribe if you haven't. Watch their videos. You never know what you're going to find on a different channel that's just right down your alley. So enjoy the month of October, a new recipe every day in Crocktober, and let me know what you think about it. See y'all in a day or two.